That insight. Now we move on to our next story. Tensions over Iran's nuclear program are rising again, and Russia may now play a central role. President Vladimir Putin has offered to help mediate talks between Iran and the United States, using Moscow's close ties with Tehran. The offer came after a phone call between Putin and the US President Donald Trump. Trump said time is running out for Iran to make a decision and claimed Putin agrees that Tehran must not acquire nuclear weapons. The Kremlin confirmed Putin's willingness to use his relationship with Iran to facilitate negotiations. Meanwhile, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei is pushing back, saying giving up uranium enrichment is 100% against Iran's interests. Khamenei rejected the US demand and accused Washington of contradicting Iran's commitment to self-reliance. Oman has been mediating talks between Iranian and US officials, but after 5 rounds, key issues remain, including Iran's refusal to ship out its enriched uranium stockpile. For now, talks continue, but the clock is ticking. Now we have Adrian Calamere. He's a terror scholar. He's joining us from New York. Thank you, Adrian, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. Is Russia's offer to mediate sincere diplomacy or a strategic move to gain influence in the Middle East, according to you?
Thank you for having me. Good evening to all your viewers. I don't think so. I think Trump needs to get this through his head that Putin is not your friend, that this is not a good move. You have to look at the relationship between Tehran and Moscow. They just signed a comprehensive strategic partnership that is very strong. Now, we've seen them cooperate going all the way back. I mean, if you want to look at full kinetic action, military action, back to the Syrian civil war, with the Russian air campaign that came in. And then with the conflict in Ukraine, we've seen the Islamic Republic shipping up ballistic missiles and drones when Moscow ran into a firepower issue. So when you look at Russia, they already have their influence within the Middle East. The United States is, you can look during the Obama years, it was a receding influence in the Middle East, and it was somewhat deliberate and kind of tilted the scales towards Tehran and their regional allies. Now, pulling in Moscow to help out on this, it's, as I said before, I truly believe that Putin does not want the Islamic Republic to have a nuclear weapon, but I also believe that Putin believes that once they have one ready, the Israelis will pull off a military strike. And he's been on the record as saying so. He said so to the former prime minister, or the former president of Spain, Jose Maria Aznar. He said, once they're on the launching pads, I know the Israelis will take them out.
So here I want to build on what you just said. If Trump and Putin agree Iran must never get nuclear weapons, what common ground does that create, and what remains as risk?
See, that is the big problem here, is that we have one side with the Islamic Republic and Khamenei, and he does believe that nuclear weapons are critical to the survival of the regime. That's the one side. And then you have the other side where Trump is saying time is running out. You had mentioned that before. Putin's worried about them having nuclear weapons. And really, we have to be looking at about a 6 to 8 month window here where there's a race for the bomb going on into militarization. So if we look back to the beginning of May, Trump basically put, and this is when the negotiations started, Trump put the Islamic Republic on a 60-day clock. I fully expect that to extend to 90 days, but it's all tied to the militarization of their nuclear program. And that's a scary part. So that brings in the military option. You can't reach a diplomatic solution. I just don't see it happening. So what's the military option? And the military option, many people are worried about contamination, nuclear fallout, those type of things. And really, you have to worry about two facilities there in the Islamic Republic, Bushehr being the main one. The other ones, Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, all these other sites and undeclared sites can be hit. The question is, can they penetrate deep enough into the earth to completely, take them offline so that they can't be used again, these nuclear processing plants.
And according to you, what are the implications if Iran decides to continue to refuse shipping out enriched uranium stockpiles?
I think we're going to be coming to, it's going to be coming to a head. They're not going to do that. If you look around the region, they've lost a lot of their leverage. They lost all their leverage with Hezbollah. I mean, they're beaten up. You look at Hamas, and they're hanging on by a thread. The Houthis, they've been taking a bit of a pounding, but they're still in there. And the only bit of leverage that Khamenei has had has been that nuclear file has been, enriching up to 90% at times, then down to 60%. So he just will, he's not going to give up the program. And so that's going to bring in the U.S. response, which is going to be, the maximum pressure campaign by Trump. Unfortunately, I think they haven't been enforcing it to the point where they were during Trump's first administration, whereas, putting the regime in an economic vice. It's also making sure that the table is clean, make sure that if there is a military strike on those facilities in the Islamic Republic, that the proxies in Iraq, the Houthis, don't pose a threat, that Hezbollah is contained, that Hamas can't act out. So there's that as well. But expect a combination of all three, and then an eventual strike on the military, on the nuclear side, would be my best guess as to what is coming, because it's like two locomotives and they're just racing down the same track at each other, and I don't see an off ramp.
Well, let's hope that that doesn't happen. But thank you very much, Adrian Calamere, for joining us and sharing that insight. Well, that's all we have time for. We will continue to bring more news updates from our